You understand everything. You know your goals, your dreams, your desires, and even why you can't reach them. You know everything about everything, even your own traumas, but nothing changes. That is, your life doesn't change. And here's the unpleasant truth. The real reason you don't change isn't because you know too little, but because you actually know too much. The real issue is not simply that you know too little, but rather because your awareness, deep insights, and personal self-development have gradually turned into something that is no longer intended to truly transform your life, but have instead become a new, exquisitely and beautifully packaged form of psychological avoidance. So, to put it simply once again, you understand everything, you are aware, and you keep learning even more not to actually change something in your life, but rather to stay in this same place for as long as possible. We'll break down how this works in this video. You really do understand everything you need for results. In fact, you probably even want to change. You want to achieve these results. You want to reach that reality, a new reality that will completely satisfy you. But for some reason, you don't change it. For some reason, these patterns keep repeating over and over again, the same thing, time after time. And most likely, at some point, you start to feel ashamed inside for what's happening, thinking, damn, there's something wrong with me. I understand everything, I know everything, but for some reason, nothing changes. And actually, you're already on the right path, because the first and most important task is to notice your perception error. What is this perception error? Sometimes we might think about reality in the way we want to think about it. We might have, our own little cartoons in our heads about how our life is set up, but in reality, in practice, it might have almost nothing to do with how things actually are. We can dream, we can want things to look a certain way, but life can make its own adjustments. And the surest sign is that your life doesn't change. If your life isn't changing, even though you know everything, understand everything, and are even doing something about it, then it means you're doing something wrong. It means that somewhere you have a misperception of this reality of this life. Accordingly, since you think this way, your actions also won't be aimed at a specific, concrete result, and your reality won't change. The most important task is to notice your misperception. It's like a fish swimming in its aquarium and not seeing the sea nearby. And it basically doesn't realize that it has any boundaries at all, and it doesn't see reality as it truly is. It's the same with people. And the most important indicator for realizing that a mistake exists is to notice that nothing is changing in your reality. In general, I want to say that it's not your fault. Why is it not your fault? Because right now, we live in a time when self-development has become a kind of cult. Yes, everyone wants to develop themselves, or at least dreams of doing so. It's trendy, it's stylish, and there's a huge amount of information. Especially with the development of artificial intelligence, there will be even more information. Probably the biggest problem is that there will be a lot of fools who think they're smart thanks to artificial intelligence. And how does this affect you specifically, or life in general? People think that gaining insights or having certain realizations changes their lives. They see it as an equal sign, but in reality, no, it's not an equal sign. Because to understand, to know, to be aware does not mean to actually take specific key actions to change your reality. Because sometimes we find ourselves, in our own complicated constructs, in illusory constructs about how reality works. And we enjoy staying in that. We enjoy being in a smart state. We enjoy knowing a lot, understanding a lot, and doing little. But when you do something and your reality doesn't change, it means that right now you are truly in this delusion. And the most important pill to get out of this state, to change your life, is to realize the illusory nature of your perception, the illusory nature of your beliefs and actions, and to understand what it is that you truly desire and want. And the next step, when you admit this to yourself, when you truly admit it to yourself, that is the bitter truth. As they say, there's a saying among people, better a bitter truth than a sweet lie. In fact, this saying is very true, better a bitter truth than a sweet lie. It's a bitter truth because it hits a person's ego very hard. But it's precisely this blow of recognition that helps a person make a breakthrough. Because if you see reality as it truly is, if you really look at yourself from the outside, you'll be able to give yourself advice, find the right path, find the right steps, and start taking action. And then your reality will really start to change. Then you'll succeed. And you'll even start to realize that knowing a lot, understanding a lot, doesn't always equal change. Change means understanding reality as it is, without illusions, perceiving it without clutter, without anything unnecessary. Only what you need for your goal, and then act on it. Then your reality will truly start to change. Just like a little fish living in an aquarium. If it knows that somewhere out there is the sea, at the very least, it will dream about it. To wish, it will look at its owner with its little eyes. Maybe someday the owner will set it free. God willing, you too will succeed in this.